I've been getting a few emails asking me to talk about my recording setup here. So I decided to just do a quick video, let you know what I got going on here, show you what I'm using as far as mics and stuff, and just give you some tips on how you can start your own little drum recording studio. The good news is, regardless of what you might heard, it's really not that big of a deal. There are a lot of great ways for a working drummer to make some extra coin on the side. One of the coolest ways, I think, is to start up an online drum recording service where you're basically just tracking drums for people and sending them the files over the internet. This is something that I've been doing since, I don't even know, 2009, maybe 2008, 2009. Anyways, I've been doing it for a few years successfully. I have a very simple setup, nothing crazy, and it's been serving me well for a long time. My setup hasn't changed, I haven't added anything, and I haven't spent a lot of dough on my setup. So I'm just going to take you through what I got going on here and just give you some tips on how you can prepare your environment for recording drums. And maybe, if you want to get started tracking drums online, the good news is it's not going to take a lot of dough to do it. Most of what you need, you probably have already. All you really need to get going is a suitable environment for recording drums. And drums can literally be recorded anywhere. Your bedroom, basement, whatever, living room, doesn't make any difference. You need a computer of some sort, Mac, PC, preferably a Mac, laptop, whatever, something to record on. You need some recording software, and there's millions available out there now. The three most popular have always been, Pro Tools, Logic, I use Logic here, Cubase, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. Some sort of recording software, set of drums, and a decent set of mics, and you can get started. This is my drum room. You've seen it in a whole whack of videos already, but here it is. A lot of people have been asking me about these panels that I got on the walls here. These panels, there's a lot of people that think that they're for soundproofing. They're not really for soundproofing. They're more for sound control. They're just foam panels. I got them at my local music store. They're sold in sheets just like this. And I just got a little creative, cut a couple in half lengthwise and, right in half just to sort of spread them out. And like I said, these are more for sound control. I had a lot of reverb bouncing around the room naturally because, hardwood floor and all that stuff. And these panels just kind of help to control that. So you just get a cleaner sound on the mics. I didn't do anything to this room except paint it and put a carpet under the kit. That's about it. You don't have to do any crazy renovations or, lift your floor up a couple of inches or, install expensive insulation or anything like that. I didn't do any of that. I was already halfway there because I'm in a basement. This room, there's dirt behind this wall, dirt behind the back wall, and behind half of this wall. So, that little corner back there is a perfect spot to set up a kit and start recording it. So, yeah, that's really all you need, man. You don't need any super special treated room to record a set of drums. It'll help, and you can do it if you want. But if you're worried that you have to do that to get started, you don't. For my actual recording station, I'm running a typical setup here, MacBook Pro, running Logic Pro on there. My audio interface. This is something that I wanted to stress to you guys. I spent under $400 on this interface. I've been using it since I started recording. And this is all I'm using, guys. I don't have any fancy tube preamps or, anything, any kind of special EQs, nothing. I don't have any of that stuff. I just got a MacBook Pro and a $400 interface. And I've tracked a lot of projects over the last couple of years with no complaints. So you can add gear if you want, but if you're on a low budget and that's all you got to get started, that's all you're gonna need. I picked up a couple of good studio monitors. I lucked out on these. They're a discontinued model, so I got them for pretty cheap. But when they were new, they were really expensive. They were about $1,000 a pair. But you don't really need that. These days you can get a decent set of flat response studio monitors. You can probably get a pair for, $350, maybe $400. If you don't have the budget for these right away, you can use good earbuds, because you're going to be in close enough quarters. But if you can afford a good set of, decent studio monitors, it's a good idea. When you're shopping for an audio interface to get started, I would recommend at least starting with an 8-channel interface. That would pretty much ensure that you can mic your whole kit, and you'll end up with at least an 8-track mix when you're doing this. I got 2 overheads, I got a mic on each tom, top and bottom snare, and kick. If you're tracking for people online, like if you intend to do this as a side gig, then what you can always do is just, take off one of the toms. Most people prefer to record a 4-piece kit anyway, and generally that's what I do. Now, if I'm doing a session for someone online, I'll take this tom off, use that extra channel and stick a mic on the hi-hat, just to give them a little bit more flexibility. Whatever, like I said, some dudes dig that, some really don't care about a hi-hat mic. I personally don't. I think the overheads do a good enough job picking it up. But yeah, that's my typical setup that I got going on here. 2 overheads, mic on each tom, top and bottom snare, and kick. The mics I'm using in my studio, on the toms, I got these. These are by a company called Biodynamic. These are Opus 88s. They go by a different name now, but it's the same mic pretty much. These are designed, I think, primarily for live and stage applications or whatever. But at the time, I picked these mics up before I decided to start recording, and I already had them. Didn't feel the need to go out and spend another few $100 on studio mics, so I just used these, and they're doing fine. Typical SM57 on the snare, and I got another Opus 88 on the bottom. I would definitely recommend the top and bottom snare mic. You get a much better snare sound when you have a top and bottom mic. Overheads, this is an Apex. I got a pair of Apex 435s. Very inexpensive, great mics for overheads. They definitely get the job done. And on the kick, your Beta 52. I like this mic, I think, a little better than the D112. I think, for whatever reason, I get a little more low end out of the Beta 52. So yeah, there are mic packs that you can get. You can get a decent mic pack for anywhere between like $300 and $500. That includes everything you need to get going. So those are what I got for mics. This is something I picked up for fun. This is just it's a single live panel lighting system. One thing I can highly recommend for your home studio is vibe lighting, for sure. Because I can take this and, with a couple clicks, I can change the lighting environment. You'd be surprised at how much a difference lighting makes while you're recording. Vibe is important, man. So, even if it's a matter of going out and getting a couple of red bulbs for your room, go out and get yourself some cool lighting. So the bottom line, guys, is that you don't need a ton of money to get started if you want to start recording your drums at home. You probably already have the computer already. Getting some software is not that big of a deal. And, you can get a mic pack on a budget if you need to, or buy them individually, depending on how much you want to spend. But here's the thing, man. Just be wary of who you end up talking to, who you're getting your information from, because some guys will tell you that you have to have this, and you gotta have this, and you need fancy preamps, and you need this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, you're 10 grand in the hole before you even finish talking to the guy. If you have the budget for that, you can go ahead and do it. But the most important thing that I want you to remember is that it starts at the source. Focus on getting this to sound good first. And then whatever mics you put on your situation, you're going to end up with a good performance. Learn how to tune your drums. Learn how to hit your drums. You can spend 15 grand on gear, but if your drums sound like crap, it's not going to do it any good. Keep that in mind. If you want to get your drum room started, pick a cool room, get yourself some mics, and get it done.